Hello, welcome to MS Paint Guide to Verity, the fourth encounter in Salvation's Edge. If you're watching this, hopefully you're at the encounter itself, so you can follow along. As long as you don't interact with any of these statues, the encounter won't start, so you can go ahead and explore and get a feel as you follow along to this explanation. Right here, I've got the MS Paint. I've drawn the arena. On the left side of the screen, on the white side, we've got the spawn listed here. This is where you're spawning. Obviously, the raid banner is right in front of you. We have three statues right in front of you. From left to right, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Important to note that 3 and 4 are separated by a little fucking thing, a branch, I'll call it. That's good to know so that you can tell what they are at a glance later on. In the center is a kill hole. You can drop down it if you need to wipe. And at the far end of the room, there are three more statues. Those are the ones you interact with to start the fight. And against the wall here in the back is going to be a shadow shifting between the three shapes: triangle, circle, square. For this explanation, we're going to be using the example SCT for the entire thing. So if we look on the black side, the statues are holding the square, circle, triangle. When the encounter starts, three players will be pulled into their solo realms, the dark area as I've made here on the map. I've uh, uh, I've denoted the play area here. This backside will not be accessible because of this glass wall separating you from it. Whoever gets pulled into the soul realm, the first order of business is to type out the call out. For our example, it's square, circle, triangle. They'll see two-dimensional shapes held by those statues, only in the solo realm. Again, in the solo realm, the statues are holding two-dimensional shapes. In the group realm, those same statues will be holding three-dimensional shapes. We'll touch on that in a sec. But make sure you get that call out typed out in chat, left to right, SCT. It is important to everybody's role. So make sure you do that first. Three people are in, three people are out. There are three main mechanics in this encounter: dissecting, which is done by the group, trading, which is done by the solo players, and then, forget the G, saving, which is done by one of the group players, and we'll touch on that a little later on. That's like the least complex mechanic, so I'll leave that for later. As far as adds in the encounter, there's nothing too powerful. A bunch of not cursed, bunch of regular thrall. They're orange bars, so they're good for proccing devour on buried bloodlines. There's a bunch of red bar grims flying around, so watch out for tinnitus. Orange bar knights, orange bar ogres, and unstoppable ogres. So make sure you have something that can stun unstops. Those are like the only super lethal things in this encounter, the unstops. So stun them right away, kill them, get them out of the way, and everybody is hunky dory. So let's move on to the next one. The overview of the encounter. Again, three players are sent to the Shadow Realms, three players remain in the group arena. The goal to actually clear the encounter is to reunite the team. Uh, how this is done is by matching the solo player's held shape to their statue's held shape. We'll touch on that a little bit further, and that'll make more sense later on. The strategy that LFG seems to use and that our team Density uses is dissecting the statues into mismatched shapes, and then the solo players trade and hold their mismatched shapes. Shapes. My bad. So again, if the callout is square, circle, triangle, SCT, and you're ported into the solo area, your statue is holding circle, you want to end up with square triangle. Your statue is showing C, you want ST. So let's move on. Pretty simple overview. Let's start on the shapes. 2D shapes, again, square, circle, triangle. In our example, SCT is the callout. It could be in any order. It could be CTS, TSC, whatever. Square, circle, triangle. Very simple. 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 3D shapes are made up of two of the 2D shapes. I've got them all listed out here. You can view them from the side and from like a bottom face. It makes up the according 3D shape. So first here we've got SS, which is a cube, CC, which is a sphere, and TT, which is a pyramid. These are commonly referred to as perfect shapes. The other ones are SC, cylinder, CT, a cone, and ST. We call that prism. Uh, the buff names when you're holding this will make sense later. When you're holding the two-dimensional shapes, two of them at a time, and the buff will be for those shapes will be called cylindrical for cylinder, conal for cone, and trilateral for prism. And that'll make more sense later. That just seems like a bunch of jargon right now. But those are the shapes. You can keep this on your second monitor. Uh, but what you want to do at the start of the encounter is familiarize yourself with the team's fashion and their ghost shells. So pull it out, take a look at everybody, make sure everybody knows, make sure nobody looks super similar, make sure nobody's using the same ghost shell. This is actually mission critical. If you are wearing the same ghost shell, it is quite possible to wipe just because of that. So pull them out, take a look at each other. Again, for this explanation, our call-out example will be SCT. So the end goal, the mismatched shapes, S wants CT, cone, C wants ST, prism, and T wants SC, cylinder. I recommend having that in the bottom right, screenshot, pulled up, printed out. I literally have it written down in a notebook. That's how I did it on day one. It is so helpful having that ready. Moving on. Let's start with the trading mechanic, the solo player's mechanic. Again, our example is SCT. You're ported in on this right side here. You're ported in. You'll see the three statues from left to right: square, circle, triangle. The call is SCT. You're typing it in the chat. Let's say this is your hunter. This is the middle. This is what it'll look like: a dark circle. The other ones will look extremely similar: a flat triangle, a flat circle, a dark two-dimensional shape. Very simple. Trading is done by killing knights. The knights, when they are killed, drop the two-dimensional shapes. When they're picked up, they give you their respective buff. Interacting with statues then deposits that shape's buff into that statue. So say I wanted to put my triangle into, say, a square the statue that is holding square. I kill a knight, I pick up the triangle buff, I go to interact with the statue that is holding a square. That'll make more sense later. After you kill two of the knights, and the orange bar ogre will spawn. Killing that ogre will respawn the knights, starting the next rotation. But we'll touch on that later. The trade rules follow as such in order of priority. Priority 0, meaning you literally cannot break this rule, is that you cannot interact with your own statue. The game does not let you. You cannot do it. Rule number 1, priority 1, do not break this rule. Never trade two symbols into the same statue. So say you kill both your knights, they drop two shapes. Do not put both of those shapes into one statue. Always do one shape at a time and into different statues. Don't pick up both of the shapes at once and then put them into one statue. Don't pick up both of the shapes one at a time and then put them into the same statue. One shape at a time into different statues each time. Rule 2. You must trade both symbols on the first rotation. If you do not do this, you cannot progress. You have to get rid of your first two symbols, and you'll always start with two symbols. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Number 3, this is according to the strategy. Do not give statues their held shape. So if a statue is holding square, I do not want to give it a square if I have a square. So, how do you find out what shapes you have when you start? The shadows on the wall when you're ported into the solo side will shift between two different shapes. I've made a funny little illustration here. It kind of looks like this. It'll shift between two different shapes. You can call that your cue. The knights will drop what the shadows show. So let's say in our example, you are the circle. Again, the callout is SCT. You are this hunter. You have circle. Your shadows are shifting between a square and a triangle. You have S, you have T. If you kill your knights, they will drop these two symbols. According to the rules, you don't want to put square and square, so the S will go into the triangle statue. The triangle will go into the square statue. That is your first rotation. That's it. On the next rotation, you can communicate with the other solo players to trade what you need. Again, the goal is to be holding mismatched shapes. So you are circle. You are circle. C. You want ST. Square. Triangle. I did that backwards. Square, triangle, ST, quote. You want ST. That's where you want to end in this example. Example, not always this way. You want ST, you are circle. That's what you want to end up with. Follow the rules, it'll end up being just fine. And we'll run through hypotheticals later on, but that's all the rules. That's the mechanic. That's simple as it can be. Um, and it makes more sense as you do it, which is why we'll run through hypotheticals right now. So for our hypotheticals, let's say the callout will always is SCT, right? Callout's always SCT for our hypotheticals here. You will always circle, and we'll do different hypotheticals about what's on the wall. Let's say the wall shows in this first hypothetical, circle and triangle. Again, for all the hypotheticals, you are circle, you want square triangle, but you want to follow the rules. The wall shows CT. Following the rules, you don't want to put T in T. So T will go to the square statue, and for the first rotation, you always have to get rid of both of them. So the C will go to the only remaining one, triangle. On the next rotation, what you get depends on what they trade to you. So let's walk back a little bit. Let's do a full fucking hypothetical. Okay, so this is gonna be confusing, but try to follow along, right? The callout is SCT. Callout SCT. URC, right? So let's say call it SCT URC, and this will be an example of the other solo rooms. You spawn with CT, square spawns with, say, let's say SC, T spawns with the only remaining ones, ST, because there's always two of each shape, S, S, C, C, T, T. S doesn't want to give C to C, so C will go to T, and it has to give away its starting rotation, so it gives C, S. S is done for their first rotation. First rotation. Call out. Yes. Okay. Cool. URC. T doesn't want to go to T, so you got to give it to S. That one's done. You got to get rid of your second one, so it goes to T. That one's good. T doesn't want to give S to S, so you're getting S. And then T to T. Boom. There we go. This is the second rotation now. This is where you need to communicate. And on subsequent rotations, you can kill a knight and leave the buff on the ground if it is one that you need. So let's say S kills both of its knights. He knows on the wall it's showing two triangles. It's shifting between the same triangle. It wants one of the triangles, but it needs a square. It, uh, Whoever is S makes a call out. I'm square. I need a circle. T hears that, gives square circle. He leaves the T on the ground, ends up with TC. He's Okay, now my mic cut up. You are C. You have you have two S's. You need a T. I am circle. I need a triangle. Triangle here's that. Gives you T. Cool. All set. Looking good. You keep your S. You're looking good. T makes the last call out. I'm triangle. I need an S. Because he's holding a C, he needs an S. You give it to him. He holds it. He's good. We're good. After the third rotation, everybody has what they need. They are done. They then kill both their knights again, pick up both shapes at the same time, holding a three-dimensional buff. The conal, the cylindrical, and the trilateral that we went over earlier. That is the example rotation. It's a bit confusing, but it'll make a lot more sense as you do it. We'll go through more hypotheticals later. We'll do a pop quiz later. So for dissecting, sorry for the flashbang. Dissecting is the group mechanic. Well, for the example we're using SCT again. Uh, let's pay attention to the left side. Don't look at the right side yet. In the group area, there are three knights instead, and the ogres are replaced by unstoppables, and there's two of them. So outside is a little bit more lethal. You want to be ready for that. Just like the solo areas, killing all the knights will spawn the two unstoppables. Killing the two unstoppables will spawn three more knights. The knights will always drop one of each of the symbols, two-dimensional symbols, square, circle, and triangle. I think they're always in the same place too, but I'm not too sure. Anyways, dissecting is done by picking up the shapes that the knights drop and interacting with the statues. The first interact you do primes the statue. The second interact you do with a different shape swaps with that first prime statue. So say you're in the middle here. You're in the group, you're doing the dissecting. You pick up square. You interact with a statue holding a cube, which is made up of two S's. You then pick up a triangle. You then interact with a statue holding a cone, which is made up of a cube, a circle, and a triangle. My bad, CT. This swaps them, ending up with ST and SC, because the S, one of the S's from the first statue goes to the second, SC, and then the triangle from the second statue goes to the first statue, ST. Make sense? Essentially, that is all it is in dissecting, and you're just trying to end up with mismatching shapes. This is the end goal. S wants to end up with CT, C wants to end up with ST, and T wants to end up with SC. Always the end goal for our strategy here. So now we're looking on the right side. We're starting at the top here. This is our example. The three-dimensional shapes is always different. Sometimes they're holding perfect shapes, spheres, cubes, pyramids. Sometimes they're holding, shit already. Sometimes they're holding what they need. It's just random. But for our example, the callout is SCT. I put all the statues in parentheses so you can kind of follow along right here. The callout is SCT, and the statues are starting holding a cylinder, SC, a cone, CT, and a prism, ST. Optimally, you do dissects, two dissecting rotations. You pick up S, you put it in the S statue because you want to get the S out of the S statue for a strategy. You pick up circle, you put it in the circle, the C statue call out because you want to get C out of C per our strategy. After they swap, this is how it ends up on the first rotation. You end up with CC on the S statue, ST on the C statue, and ST remains on the triangle statue because you didn't swap with that one at all. On the second go, we're working with this now. We put triangle into the triangle statue because we want to get that T out of there, right? And we want to get the other C out of the S statue. So we put C into S again. This ends up with this after they swap. The T comes out of T, it swaps into the S statue. We end up with CT. This remains the same ST because we didn't swap on this one on with that statue. And then T has SC. It matches our goal. Double check, run through it, double check. We're good. Splicing is good. Splicing is done. We'll run through more hypotheticals later, but that is one go of it. It's really confusing on paper, and it's really confusing just trying to tell you it without you actually experiencing it. But we'll go through pop quiz later on both trading and dissecting so that you can see if you really get it or not. The third mechanic, saving. After like the first rotation, the solos will be killed with a notification saying that the catatonic decimation killed them. It's a fake death, and their ghosts will drop according to where they were in the solo world. Ideally, you want to drop in an area that has cover and isn't like in a bad spot, probably further back in the room so that it's closer to the statues, and that'll make sense in a bit. Someone in the group team will call that they will do ghosts. Uh, our team only has one guy doing ghosts because the other two need to keep either dissecting if they're not done with that, and they don't want to also get overrun with ads as they continue because that's still going on. So one guy on our team strat is doing ghost. Find the ghost. It has like a fucking gigantic blue ghost on your HUD. You pick it up. You see what ghost it is. If you don't know, you ask. This is the harpy shell. Who has the harpy shell? Oh, I have the harpy shell. Cool. You know who has it now. Grab that ghost. You only grab one at a time, by the way. You go back to the starting area over here. Again, one, two, three, four, five, six. Six statues. The first go of it. Oh, sorry. It'll decimate the three solo players, so there'll be three ghosts, and the statues will glow. Three glowing statues. The guy who's alive here, who has the ghost, cannot see the people in the statue. The dead people have to spectate, see who it is, know their fashion, and then say, "Oh, that's city's Titan," and then count. Uh, this is a screenshot, so I don't. For sake of example, let's say this is statue 5. Oh, that's city. City is in 5, and let's say I have the harpy ghost. He puts the harpy ghost, my ghost, into my statue that is called out to him. I am then revived in the solo world, and then I continue on with doing what I'm doing with my rotations. He picks up the second ghost, the second person sees it, picks up the third ghost sees it. Everybody who's dead can only see one person in the statue. It's never themselves. So make sure you type it out in chat. City is 5, fucking Eric is 2, John is 3. Stuff like that. If he dunks into the wrong statue, the person holding the ghost will die, which is, not good. At a certain point in the encounter, 5 people will be decimated and one person will be alive. If that one person fucks up that first ghost, he's dead, everybody's dead, it's a wipe. So make sure you know who's who and who has what ghost. Extremely important. Okay, so now that we know everything, let's go through the chronological order of the encounter. Chronologically, everybody spawns in. You hit the banner, you go to the end. It pulls 3 people into the solo realm. 3 people are out in the not the ghost, the group world. The call out is made immediately. SCT for our examples. They start trading according to the rules. People start dissecting according to what they need to the call out. Again, S needs CT, C needs ST, T needs SC. They start dissecting according to that. Solos start trading according to that. After the first rotation of the solos, they'll get decimated. Someone in the group area will do the 3 ghosts, reviving those 3 dead solo players. They'll continue on. Ideally, it only takes like 2 rotations to get what you need. As soon as the people in the solo world see the shadows on the wall show what they need. So for the example, your circle again, you need ST. You look on the shadows on the wall after you come back to life. It's showing a square and a triangle, ST. You say, oh, I'm good. I'm good to go. Make sure the other solos are also good to go. After everybody knows they're good to go, kill your knights, pick up both of the 2D shapes at once, combining them into a buff. If that buff that these solo players are holding matches what the three-dimensional shapes their statue is holding on the group area, they'll be able to exit through the glass wall. It'll have like a shatter FX. You'll notice it. You'll be able to walk through. You'll reunite. As soon as you reunite, a bunch of ads will spawn. A bunch of Grims, yada yada. A couple of guys. Unstoppables will spawn up on the ramp. Two of them here. You'll kill those. It'll do the 5-man ghost wipe. So make sure you're kind of spaced apart so you don't interact with the wrong ghost by accident. Try to stay away from the statue so that you don't like overlap with their interactable. And don't be too far forward either, making it a pain in the ass to go get your ghost, right? Try to be in this relative area. 5 dead people, 1 guy ghost. Everybody types it out in the chat. He puts the ghost in. That guy revives in the group area. He helps out. They all get up. Everybody's back alive. 6 people in there. That's a whole rotation. The timer resets, and you do it all again. You do this 3 times, and counter completes. That's it. That is Verity. So let's run through a couple of hypotheticals so you see if you truly know what to do. And we'll go through a couple of dissections, a couple of solos as well. Dissect, trading. I'll go through a couple examples. We'll do trading first because I feel like that is what trips people up the most. For our example, the call is SCT, left to right, square, circle, triangle. For our example, you are always circle. This is you. Let's say on the wall you're showing square, circle. URC, you're showing square, circle. Where are you dunking these two? I'll give you a sec to think about it. Think about the rules. If you answered S cannot go into S, so S goes to T, so the remaining factor C goes to S, you were correct. You have to get rid of both of your starting, you have to get rid of both of your starting symbols, and you don't want to put matching symbols into the matching statue. Next example. Let's say, call it SCT, URC, you see 2 circles, CC. What do? First rotation, you have to get rid of both of them. And since they don't match either statues, both statues will get a circle. Pretty simple, pretty easy. One more. Let's do one more here. ST, square, triangle. First rotation. What goes where? Right. The symbols cannot match. T goes to the S, S goes to the T. Good. We'll touch on that later. Okay. Some more examples. Let's say it is your second rotation, again, with the rules here. URC, the call is SCT. You have a square circle, hypothetical. What do? You no longer have to dunk both symbols, and you want to end up with ST. So if you kill the S knight, leave it on the ground, keep it. You have to wait to see who needs that circle, but for sure you're getting rid of it. It's going somewhere. You just have to wait to see who calls it out that they need the circle. All right. Let's do a couple more hypotheticals on trading. Again, second rotation. You have ST. What goes where? Second rotation, you are circle, call us SCT, you have ST. Nothing. You're done. It is possible to do it in one rotation if somebody gets like a double at the first, but if you end up in the second rotation with ST, you're done. I wouldn't combine them just yet, just in case someone fucks up something. But just wait for the call. If everybody's good, you're done. Pretty quick rotation. Feels good. Let's do one more. Second rotation. This is a pretty common occurrence. You have TT. What happens? What do you do? If you answered that you're keeping one of the triangles and you're giving the other one away somewhere, you're right. You have to wait to see who needs triangle, and you also have to make your own call out. URC, you want ST, you have one T, you need an S. Make that call out. I am circle, I need square. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's all anybody needs to know. You will eventually hear the same call out from someone else. Let's say, for example, I am square, I need a triangle. It'll go over it'll go over to square. Hopefully you've got that down by now. If you haven't answered every single one of those hypotheticals correct, then rewatch the video and take the quiz again. I don't know. You can ask me questions. You can DM me. Anyways, let's go over to dissecting. Let's go through a couple of hypotheticals for dissecting. Let's say you're in the group area. Call out again is SCT for the statues, for our example here. And you're the guy splicing. Nobody else in the group area knows what to do, and you gotta step up. Unlucky. No ad clearing for you. Let's say square is showing. My paint just crashed? No, okay. Square is showing a cube. Circle is showing a sphere. And triangle is showing a pyramid. What is the order of operations? It's quite lengthy. It's like a math question. Let's walk through it. Let's break down the shapes of what they have first. Cube is square square. Circle is CC. Pyramid is TT. You kill the knights, you pick up a circle or whatever buff you have, and you start splicing. Let's say in this example, I want to get a circle out of circle right away, so I carve that out. I prime that. And then let's say I do triangle next. I want to get triangle out of triangle, so I dunk triangle into the triangle. Input. I'm going to put input in the pencil brush. You input C here, you input T here. Afterwards, they swap. CT, TC. This one remains SS. We'll draw those out real quick just so you know. That's still a cube. This one becomes a cone. This one becomes a cone. We're almost there. Pure shapes starting are pretty rough because you have to like do a lot of them, but you just keep doing it. So let's if you kill all of your knights, there'll be an S shape as well somewhere, but you can wait to next rotation if you really don't feel comfortable with it. But anyways, let's continue. Let's pick up a square next. Here's the trap. Here's the trap of what people do. Um, they grug brain it. There's a grug brain rule. You put the shape into the matching statue, so you carve it out, right? But what happens if you put C into C again and T into T? Because you want to get the T out of there, and you want to get the C out of here. You end up with CCTT, and that's still SS. You have to do so much swapping to make up for that. So that's not the optimal second dunk, second dissect. So I always, if it's all three pure shapes, I always then do square after that. And it doesn't really matter which one I do next. So let's say I do C into C again. Outcome after that, the C goes over to the S goes over to the C, and then this one is still TC. This one's still a cone. This one is now a prism. And this one is now a cylinder. That's a really shitty cylinder. That's a really shitty cylinder. Oh shit. Alright. So now This one's good. This one's locked in. That's all we need. Next, splice dissect rotation. I get the T out of T. I get the S out of S. And then I end up with CT. This one remains at ST. Locked in good. And this one ends up with SC. Cylinder, prism, cone. At that point, we're all good. All done. Starting with three perfect shapes in their matching statue is always the longest rotation. So you just gotta keep that in mind. That's the worst hypothetical, and probably shouldn't have started with that one. Let me get this shape tool just so I can like just erase this all at once. Let's go through an easier hypothetical. We'll start with the rough one up top. Let's say we start with SC, CT, and fucking what else is there? SD. Cool. Square circle, we've got a cylinder. CT, we've got a cone. ST, we've got a prism. Let's say that's what we're starting with. What is the order of operations? If you don't have a pen and paper out by now, good fucking luck. I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. Actually, you can just pause the video. Anyways, let's dunk S because we want to get S out of S. Let's dunk C because we want to get C out of C, right? After that, the S goes over, it retains the T. The C goes over, it's now has two C's, right? Yeah, because the C goes over, the S goes over. Yeah, yeah. This one becomes a sphere, this one becomes a prism, and this one remains ST, another prism. So this one's good. This one's locked in already. One rotation. We're looking good. This one has one of the ones it needs. Triangle needs to get rid of this one. So next, we dunk T into T, and we dunk C into S because we want to get rid of one of those C's. All of a sudden, we have SC. This one remains locked in with ST. And then this one has CT because it got it from T. CT, we got a cone. ST still locked in the prism. SC, we've got cylinder. Locked in. Looking good. Let's do one more. Let's do one perfect shape on a not matching symbol. SS. And then what's remaining? CT and then CT again. Yeah. Let's say these are the ones showing. What do you do? Well, we gotta get the C out. We gotta get the C out of C. Uh, and honestly, you can do. Think about it. CT on S already. That one's already good. If that happens, you're lucky. You're good on that already. We want to get the C out of C, and T has too many S's, so we dunk square there. So this one ends up with ST, and this one ends up with SC. Cylinder, prism. SC gets ST mismatch. That one's good. T has SC mismatch. That's good. One rotation. Pretty simple. I think that's enough hypotheticals to really get a good hang of it. If you have any more questions, feel free to DM me or ask. But I think that about does it for Verity. It's pretty simple. You just gotta practice it, and then it'll make a lot more sense as you do it. Good luck.